Good afternoon, 8th grade HMS Bobcats. Mr. Flato here. Welcome back. What I hope will be a great week for each and every one of you here at the Helena Middle School. On today's Bob lesson, I reached out to Miss Gluckert to come up with a lesson based around military and service career opportunities once you graduate high school. Some of you may or may not know that Ms. Gluckert has a little bit of a military background, and in talking with her, and I won't tell you her whole story, that was really critical in kind of bridging the gap from where she was as a teenager to where she is now. For many of you, the military can be an outstanding career, training, life, financial opportunity, and Ms. Gluckert's going to talk with some of those things with the guests that she has on, but many of those things can be an incredible opportunity for so many of you. There's so many different pathways to success in life, and each of those pathways, I strongly believe, starts with having a high school education. One of the things that the military can do, well, there's many things that the military can do, but one of the main things that it does require is that you graduate from high school. And so for many of you, I think, that can understand those opportunities, that hopefully is the carrot at the end of the road these next 4 years to get your high school graduation. But wanted to spend some more time here down the stretch talking about more important things, and Ms. Gluckert did an outstanding job with some great questions and conversations she had. So I'm going to cut you guys loose. I hope you guys enjoy this Bob lesson.
Hi, HMS students. This is Miss Gluckert. I am sitting here with Sergeant Seth Monroe. He is a recruiter for the National Guard, and I brought him in here to answer some questions to help teach you about being in the military.
Awesome.
So Seth, or Sergeant Monroe, what branches of the military are there available?
Oh gosh. So the military has a lot of different branches that people don't know about because you only hear about the main ones. So I'm in the National Guard. The National Guard actually has the Montana Army National Guard and the Air National Guard, and every state has one of those. We have the regular Army, which that is what most people are familiar with. That's what you see in all the movies and that kind of stuff. The Marines, the Navy, and the Coast Guard. And then there are a few other minor ones that fall under the military, but they're not as common as the rest. Merchant Marines, things of that kind of nature. But those are generally most. And the Air Force, excuse me. And the Air Force.
Yeah, don't forget that.
Don't forget the Air Force.
Okay, awesome. So there's a lot of different branches. Which one are you in?
I am actually part of the Montana Army National Guard. So the huge difference, all the branches I just named off to you, they also have a reserve component as essentially 1 week in a month, 2 weeks in the summer. It's a part-time service. They're all federal. I actually work for the state. We are a state and a federal-driven service. So long story short, we serve the community of Montana first. So anytime you guys have seen wildfires, I know you guys see them every summer, the smoke is crazy. We help serve with that, putting out the fires, doing all that kind of stuff. And then we also serve the federal government as well.
Awesome. So what is it that you do in the National Guard then?
Yeah, gosh, the thing with this is you can change jobs so frequently, right? Mm-hmm. So I actually started out in the National Guard as a medic in the medical. So I helped take care of people if they got hurt, they got injured. We worked in troop medical facilities, helped people in that way. It was pretty great. Loved that job. I actually transitioned and went from there into a human resources position. For those of you who don't know what that is, those are the office people that you see. They help out with all the office work, computer work, that kind of stuff. And then now I'm actually a recruiter, so I help get people into the National Guard. The cool part is with any service, you can really kind of transfer jobs. A lot of people think like once you pick one job, you're stuck there forever. Mm-hmm. It's not how it works. So if you want to go into something different, branch out, you can do that kind of stuff as well.
Oh, nice. Okay. So how long? So you've done all these different jobs. How long have you served for in total?
Yeah, right now I just came up on 13 years.
Nice.
Yeah, loving every minute of it. Like I said, I loved my first job. Being able to branch out and do something different. For someone like me, I think if I had to do the same thing for 30, 40 years, I'd go crazy. So being able to, switch jobs up and do that kind of stuff has been awesome for me. So.
Great, that's nice. And you get to retire at 20 years, right?
Yes, yeah. So the cool part about retirement's kind of a hit or miss thing nowadays, but yeah, we get to retire and actually retire, make a good enough salary and a paycheck to where I think I'll be 43. Mm-hmm. And if I decide I want to go work somewhere else, I can. But if I don't want to, I don't have to.
That's super cool.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. What are some of the other financial benefits of being in the military?
That is an awesome question. So, anytime somebody enlists, as long as, again, all these are a caveat depending on how well you do on your testing and all the stuff that we have you do. So we have a $20,000 enlistment bonus. Some jobs are even higher, just depending on the position and how much they need people in those positions.
Okay.
You do get a paycheck. So on our side,
I'm going to pause. So they get $20,000 right off the bat just for signing up.
Yeah. So how that works, they actually get half of it up front, and then the other half is spread over the contract.
Yeah.
So like, let's say they do 4 years, they'll get 10,000 up front, then they'll get 5,000 in 2 years and 5,000 in 2 years. So for a lot of kids who are doing college, because we're 1 week in a month, 2 weeks in the summer, it's awesome because every other year that they're going to school, they just get a big lump sum check. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so we have that. We do have the 1 week in a month. You do your you get a paycheck. For any time we put you on any kind of orders at all, whether you go to some kind of school leadership training, anything like that, we're going to pay you and do that as well. So it's nice just to have that extra pocket money. If you do decide to go to the active duty side, it is just like a full-time job. You get a full-time paycheck the whole time. And then the big one is college benefits. I know that's a huge thing for the Guard with what we do. Is we always tell people if you want to go to college, we're the service you go to, just because we're going to give you essentially right now we have what we call a tuition waiver where we pay for all of your tuition, so everything's paid for. So you want to go to school, all of it, and then you do 1 weekend a month with us. So one of those weekends you'll come work with us and do your job, and then the rest of the time you're going to school full time.
Wow,
that's it's great.
Huge, so helpful. What kinds of different jobs are available if somebody wanted to join and pick a job? What jobs could they pick?
Sure. Well, I mean, I could spend hours on this, right? We have so many different jobs, but we have everything ranging. I mean, if you're interested in computers and want to be an IT person, graphic design, if you want to go into the medical field, maybe you want to be a lawyer. We have lawyers and JAGs as well. And then we also have things like if you just want to work in the trade field, we have electricians and plumbers and pretty much any job that you can get on the civilian side. Don't quote me, almost any job you can get on the civilian side, we have it in the military. So the cool part is like when you do enlist, if you are going to college, you say, I want to be an engineer. We have that position. Yeah. So you could go get some experience being an engineer and put that on your resume. So when you graduate college, it's just a lot easier to get a job.
That's awesome. I was actually in the National Guard. You knew that.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and I was a truck driver. That was my job. So very different than what I'm doing now. So what kind of personality traits are good for the military? Would be well in the military?
Sure, that's a great question. I mean, to start out, I would say for people who are, very well organized, you've got good attention to detail, meaning you're paying attention to situations, able to problem solve, which hopefully, that's something kids are working on, especially, in the middle school age. Being able to look at a problem and trying to figure it out and fix it rather than, just not figure it out. Those are big ones, and work ethic is huge. Those are the main ones that I think would really help out someone if they were wanting to get into the military, stuff that I would work on. However, that being said, I think when you go to training, your initial training, they're going to teach you a lot of those things. They're going to teach you how to, be on time. They're going to teach you how to be organized. They're going to teach you how to do a lot of that. Yeah. And so it's good for those to go in, even if you're not that person, because it's going to give you awesome life skills that you can take with you pretty much anywhere you go.
Okay, so even if you're a person who struggles with some of those things, they help you out with that and they can teach you those things.
Absolutely. And we get a lot of kids that they go in and they've got no self-discipline, they've got no organization, and they come out and when they're going to college, and it makes things easier when you learn those skills and those traits, so that when you get out in the real world doing your thing, it just makes life way easier.
Nice. All right, so what could a person in middle school be doing right now to make sure that if they want to join the military that they can in the future?
Yeah, I think the big thing that I would tell you is obviously stay in school and graduate. We can't enlist people that don't graduate. So that's one of the huge ones. We get a lot of people that try to drop out and come in, and we just don't do that. Right? So graduate school, stay in school, do the best you can to just develop some of the traits that we were just talking about. I think it's super important. And then I would just say stay healthy. I mean, that's the other big thing. A lot of people that can't get in is because, they hurt themselves doing this or they did this and we can't get them in for medical reasons. I think besides that, just really kind of gearing yourself towards being more self-disciplined, I think is really going to help you to, move forward and go into that. It's going to make life easier.
Great. Yeah. Awesome. All right, HMS students, that's all I have for you. Thank you for listening. That's all I got.
All right, let's give away some jelly beans. This week's winners: Ava DePizzle, Cody Ott, Bree Pineda, Hunter Pettit, and Kale Covey. What word could be reads the same, whether it's forward, backwards, upside down? And the answer was noon. If you think all caps, it's noon. I did reward a couple swims, even though if you put swims upside down or backwards, it's an S is turned. But I'm in a good mood, so I decided to be gratuitous today. All right, this week's Jelly Bean question of the week. If you have 2 dogs, 1 cat, and a lizard, how many legs do you have? If you think you know the answer, submit your answer to the Bob Box. Get it in by the end of the week. Tune in next week to see if you're a winner. All right, Bobcats, let's make it a great week at the Helen